You'll go berserker for this pulse-pounding action thriller that sinks its razor-sharp adamantium claws into the mysterious origins of Logan/Wolverine, Hugh Jackman. Discover his epically violent and romantic past, his complex relationship with Victor Creed, Sabretooth, Liev Schreiber, his encounters with new, legendary X-Men, and the ominous Weapon X program that unleashes his primal fury. So, this is based off the Origin comic, I guess.
Yeah, parts of it.
I guess the opening part
the
was part of it.
right?
I'm looking at a picture of the Origin comic here, and I think I know which parts they adapted. But yeah, it starts with the young baby Wolverine.
Yes.
And by that, I mean like an 8 or 9 year old. And he's sick all the time. Can you believe it?
Wow, I can't believe it.
And his friend, Victor's like, why are you always sick? And he was like, you used to be sick. Also, why do you have big fingernails all of a sudden? That's weird.
So they're two of the earlier mutant.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yes. And like Wolverine's mutant stuff hasn't kicked in yet.
Yeah.
Because it usually happens around puberty. But yeah, then we see Wolverine's dad, who looks exactly like Hugh Jackman. It's not the actor, but it's pretty good look-alike. But then we find out that that's not really his dad. Sabretooth's dad is Wolverine's dad.
Which I think they've messed that part up. In the comics, the Sabretooth's dad looks exactly like an adult Wolverine.
Yeah, that probably would have made more sense, right?
Because, wouldn't it? So they messed that part up.
I guess it was like a fake out, but like the scene's only like a few minutes long.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a long build.
We wouldn't have noticed he didn't look very much like Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
But then it would have been cool to see the other guy and be like, oh, he looks a lot like Hugh Jackman. That's how the comic hits you.
But yeah, so Sabretooth's dad kills Wolverine's fake dad and mom.
Yeah.
Wait, did he kill the mom? Or he just runs away from the mom.
Oh, okay. So he kills the dad, and then Logan attacks.
Yeah, then Logan grows his...
James Howlett.
James
attacks.
Howlett grows his bone
claws
and kills him, and he's like, I'm your father.
How cool would that be to have claws made out of bones?
No, I'm already on record. I don't like bone claws. I think they're stupid. I think they're dumb. They shouldn't look like bones.
You hate fun.
They should look like Sabretooth's nails, just longer, like ivory claws.
Yeah, but where would they come from? The bones are already in your arm.
Whatever. It looks stupid.
He's extending the carpal
It
bones,
looks stupid. You know what else looks stupid, Wolverine? When
What?
the kid is like, ah! And then he runs, like, prancing out of the goddamn mansion. He's like, ah!
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
That was really bad.
He was like a sickly little guy, you know? He doesn't have any social skills. He obviously doesn't have a strong father figure. So...
Yeah. But then Victor and him are like, hey, we got to run away and stick together. Let's fight in a bunch of American wars, even though we're Canadian.
They just went right down to America to avoid their parents.
I guess they did.
They run away. They cross the border, right? And then they just stay there.
I mean, what else are you going to do
Did we
during
need
a
a
war?
scene showing them cross the border? Because you brought this up when we were watching it.
I just think it's funny. It's only the
At
American
this point, do they know that they're immortal?
Yeah, I think they figured it out.
Okay, so what? So they're bored, right?
Yes.
Life's boring when there's no threat of dying. So let's just go fight in a war casually. That's what I thought their thought process was.
They're just doing it for funsies.
If
Yes.
Canada had wars, maybe they would have stayed up there for war.
Yeah,
Canada did participate in some of the wars that they're participating in.
but there wasn't
Weren't
a
they
war
on the
happening.
Canadian
Also,
side?
Canada is huge. You don't have
If
to
they're
run
on
away
our
to-
side, they're on the Canadian side, right? In
Yeah, I
these
guess
world
so.
wars.
I guess so.
So
Anyway. They fight a bunch of wars, and then they meet Stryker.
Yep.
He puts them in Weapon X,
Yep.
where they're like mercenaries. He's like, hey, you guys, you're going to get killed for war crimes, even though it doesn't work. I do like that they have the firing squad, and they're all
yeah, they put them on the wall.
Yeah. But yeah, they put him in Weapon X, and then this is like the stuff that was alluded to in X-Men 2, when Stryker was like, if you knew the kind of person you were and the things you did.
But then they made him a good guy in this. Like, where
Yeah,
he doesn't
it
want to be
kinda
that kind of
fucks up-
person or do those things anyway.
It kind of fucks up everything, because he's not like, I guess he's doing bad stuff, but then he realizes he has a conscience.
Yeah.
And he doesn't actually do really bad things.
No.
So it kind of defeats the whole purpose of telling this origin. It's like, well, wasn't supposed to be he was a bad guy, and then he had a clean slate, and he ended up doing good, and
No, but in this one, he's a good guy up
Yeah.
until the clean slate, and then after also.
yeah.
So
It's
He's
not.
the-
It's a
Tony.
pretty terrible character arc. It's like, hey, you're an okay person. You just do bad things, and then it's like, hey, now you're an okay person who sometimes has to do bad things, but only to bad people.
He's the best at what he does, and what he does is pretty good.
Pretty okay,
actually.
pretty
Thank you
okay.
for saving the day.
Like, look,
Heroic
he might have done
guy.
some things without once he figured out what he was doing was bad, he tried to correct it and he walked away.
Does he even kill one innocent person other than the? Well, I mean, the guy who just shot his dad's not innocent. I don't think he even does a bad thing in the movie.
Yeah. And he just had rage. He didn't. I don't think he meant to kill the dude, really. Although in the comic, apparently he says, "You killed my papa. I'll kill you back. I'll kill you." Stupid. Yeah. And then the rest of the movie is Sabretooth, who for 200 years decided to do a buzz cut and a black coat.
Yeah.
And I guess just at some point before the 90s starts, he decided to dye his hair blonde, grow out his beard, and start wearing deer skin.
Tony, have you not had a haircut before?
I have.
You're bagging on my brother Sabretooth for getting a hair.
It's just a very awkward change in the character. And this is when the X-Men film continuity wasn't totally fucked.
Okay.
This movie fucked it.
Yeah.
So I was sitting there, I'm like, okay, I'm buying it for this movie, but how does he become the Sabretooth we see later? Who's like not talking at all, doesn't even bring up to Wolverine that they're related or
His
anything.
eyes are all glazed over and stuff. Yeah, as we go through this movie, Tony, I'll be happy to point to you the individual moments where he starts to lose his humanity and become more like the feral beast inside. That's the character arc for Sabretooth and his brother Wolverine.
Look, I'll give him some credit. Liev Schreiber's trying.
Yeah.
He's trying. It just doesn't feel like the other
I think
Sabretooth.
he is trying too hard. Like, he's got too big of a role in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, he should have been a bit character instead of like a main character.
I think it would help if he just looked a little bit more like Sabretooth, if he had the blonde, long hair.
Yeah.
But
What about the eyes? Do you care about the white eyes that Sabretooth has in the X-Men movies?
I
He's
like
got like weird animalistic eyes.
those are cool. I like those.
He doesn't do that in this one either.
You know what I don't like? His stupid run that you think is good.
It's great.
No.
Do you watch Naruto and get mad at how they run
No,
through
I don't
the
watch
trees?
Naruto at all.
Well,
Cartoons are for children.
what do you think X-Men's are for?
No, X-Men's for cool guys.
X-Men's for adult men.
Yeah. No,
that's
it's
an amazing
it's obvious wire work. Like, it's really bad. It's one of the worst things I've ever seen is him going, running on all fours. Rogue Sal, what did you think of Sabretooth's run?
Why is he running like that?
He's pouncing like a big cat.
I mean, he is doing that like a big cat, but like I feel like there's more efficient ways to run on all four legs.
It also doesn't seem like he's
What?
running any faster than he would just running normally.
Yeah, like it seems like he's just like jumping.
Well, no, like
in
all of
the
his.
air, and then
Now he's using his claws to dig in
Yeah.
and using his strength to pull him up through the air faster.
But I feel
than
like
he
you could just run at a brisk pace and get.
But he
the
doesn't
same-
have super feet. He
Wait.
has super fingers.
hold on. Is his claws digging into the air and
No, he like
grabbing the air
you
and
know, it's
pushing
like he
him forward?
pounces. He's
It's a bad
pouncing.
effect, and that's the name of the
It
game.
doesn't.
For
It
this
doesn't
episode.
look very particularly well
Can
executed.
we talk about Weapon X, who's in the team? There's
Yeah.
Bolt, I think, right? The electricity
Task
guy?
Force X?
No,
Wolverine is
Weapon
Weapon X, right?
But I thought that was just like the Weapon X program.
Oh,
What are the
okay,
teams
sure.
called? Task Force
Task
X
Force
is the
X.
Suicide Squad.
Yeah. Well, it would be the same team.
Whatever, we'll just call it Weapon X.
Fine.
Weapon X program.
You got the Agent Zero, Hitman
Agent Zero, whose mutant power is shooting things good.
Yeah.
What if he was born in like an era where they didn't have guns?
He could throw stuff good, right?
Probably
Can he?
bow and arrow.
Actually, I don't know.
Can he?
I would
don't
think it'd
know.
be a full kinesthetic, like body.
Maybe.
Could always make the paper in the trash bin.
I
What's-
guess
guy.
like Bullseye.
Yeah.
What's the power specifically? Is the ability to control your hand to a fine degree where you can shoot a target very precisely? Is
I
that
don't know. It's stupid as well.
Can he curve the bullet around? Like if he can control gun memes.
So is
then maybe
Bullseye
that's
a mutant
gun
now? Are we
power.
led to believe Bullseye from Daredevil is a mutant?
I don't know.
It's weird. Anyway,
Zero's powers are bad.
yes. Then there's Bolt, who's the electricity guy.
Yeah.
From Lord of the Rings.
And Lost. From
Lost. But then they announced this. They said he was Beak, and I'm like, he doesn't look like a bird. But I guess they were like, no, he's not Beak. He's someone else. And then there's Blob, played by Kevin Durant. This is probably one of the early Kevin Durant movies I've seen him in. Now he's killing it. He was just the bad guy in the new Planet of the Apes film and everything. He's blowing up. He's Blob.
Yep.
I do like the shot of him punching the tank and making the tank blow up. That was cool.
That was good.
That was cool. There's Blob. There's Strife. What's Will.i.am's name?
I don't know. You tell Blink?
Strife, maybe?
I don't know.
Will.i.am is there. And he can teleport.
Teleports.
But he's different than Nightcrawler. He doesn't turn into a blue cloud. He like disappears layer by layer.
Yeah,
like you see his skeleton.
his skeleton goes
cool.
last, which is cool.
I thought that was cool. Did I ever tell my Will.i.am story to you
No.
guys? So
What is your Will.i.am story, Tony?
Oh, God, Milton! Sorry, I'm not used to having claws. Oh,
We're not
God.
at the bathroom scene yet. You can't be
Shing, shing, shing,
knocking everything down and breaking it yet.
Snick, snick, snick. Years ago, I went to a party for
Yeah.
Maker. It was an MCN that just got bought out by Disney. And the guy I was working for was going to the party, invited me along. And Will.i.am sang there. Well, that was the night. That was famously the night where Will.i.am's guy yelled at me, Miss Piggy's agent yelled at me, and we creeped out James Franco. But Will.i.am was trying to promote some like young boy that he was like a protege of his.
Some young boy.
Yeah,
okay.
and the kid's like song sucked. But Will.i.am sang that song where remember it's like Will.i.am and Britney, bitch. Remember that song?
Yes.
I scream and shout and let it all out.
Yes.
I was trying to find a good opportunity to make that fucking pun.
Good.
But this
It's not
opportunity,
a pun.
yes,
Just
it is.
saying a reference.
No,
to
no,
song
no,
that-
no, no. I would have been like, oh, did Will.i.am scream and shout and let it all out? Aha.
Yeah. I think
but
the
it
kid
ruined
sang
it.
some weird song like "It's my birthday." It was weird. So they sang that song, but obviously Britney Spears was not there. So you would think that kid would just say his name, right? Like it's Will.i.am and whatever, bitch.
Okay, yeah.
Instead, they said nothing. It was weird.
It's Will.i.am and
They were like, "It's Will.i.am," and
Oh,
everyone's like, "Huh."
why even say that it's Will.i.am part?
I don't
too,
know.
right? Like-
It was very weird. It was very, very
or
weird.
you could have the little kids say Britney bitch.
That's what he.
The whole thing
opened
was
with.
uncomfortable, and I didn't like it. And then the last member is Deadpool.
Yes.
Ryan
Well,
Reynolds.
Wade Wilson.
Wade Wilson.
I wouldn't. The Deadpool.
Yeah.
Maybe not Deadpool.
Wade Wilson and Ryan Reynolds really fought for this part. He
Yep.
wanted to be Deadpool, but he had no creative control in this.
Nope.
And the filmmakers behind this movie did not give a shit about Deadpool, and they didn't know what they had with Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
I used to really not like Ryan Reynolds because he kept showing up in bad superhero movies. Blade Trinity, this.
Oh no, Ryan
Yeah.
Reynolds is great. He was in the Crossfire commercial.
Crossfire!
Now he's good. But yeah, no, he was like really hyped up. People really wanted to see him, and he's doing like the wacky one-liners and stuff,
Yeah.
which were the highlights of Blade Trinity because that movie's boring as shit. You need Ryan Reynolds to spice it up a little bit.
Well, that's kind of what he's playing in this movie too.
Yeah.
Another witty guy with a sword.
Yeah, and that's all fine. And then he disappears, and he is a bad guy, by the way. He's like happily killing innocent people.
Innocent. They're all drug dealers and drug dealers.
No, but then they go to that African village to find out where the adamantium.
Well, those people are poor. There's different scales of guilt.
Well, he's killing poor innocent people, and maybe Storm is there.
Yeah. Well, in
Yeah.
a different version of this.
Yeah, so in the
potentially.
trailer for the movies, they showed like a little girl Storm. And remember the end of that scene, it starts raining.
There's still a big lightning flash and
Yeah,
everything. It's
there's
really
a bright-
dramatic weather.
Yeah, but she wasn't in the movie.
Yeah.
I think she might be in the work print. I'll have to watch the work print.
My headcanon is that she was just under the camera's line of sight. She's like a little kid, so you can't see her.
Gotcha. Yeah, so the rest of the movie is like Victor Creed is attacking members of Weapon X. They tell him that he's going to be coming for Wolverine. Wolverine's on the run. Then you find out it's one big, well, it's not really a surprise because we've seen X2. It's one big conspiracy, and
Yeah.
Stryker has been like getting rid of evidence, and he's been kidnapping mutants to pool all their powers.
Pull them.
To make other people dead. A dead pool, if you will.
What?
Oh man.
Yeah.
This is so big brained. I would have not thought this otherwise.
And it's because Stryker hates that his son is a mutant, who we see Jason on ice. He freezes mutants. That's a thing you could do, apparently.
He's heterochromia. That's how you know he's bad guy.
Yeah.
If you have heterochromia, you're a mutant.
Also,
free.
he kills a general in this, and I guess he got to keep his job afterwards. I guess he just got away with it.
Well, he's a higher ranked general.
I
right?
guess so. I
Gotta-
guess so. Now I know you're real strict with comic accuracy. Are you upset that he was still a military guy and not a preacher?
No, I'm okay with that because they changed that in the X2 and X-Men, which are like better movies that kind of like boiled my frog into accepting him as a
okay.
military man.
Okay.
So now in the worst
So
movies,
you're not one of those like it has to be a 1-to-1 translation.
Like I hate that he's in Days of Future Past, and they're like, "Hey, look, it's Stryker again." He's a different guy. And I'm like, oh, "Stop doing Stryker."
Especially since that guy was supposed to be Juggernaut and he looks nothing like Stryker.
And then they're just like, "Oh no, he's Stryker, guys."
So you're okay with the movie taking liberties?
Yes, as long as they take liberties well.
Okay. Min, are you okay with a movie taking liberties?
As long as it makes sense in this context of the movie. Like,
Okay.
it has to make sense as a movie plot.
So if in a comic a guy lands on a yellow car, but a film adaptation makes it a red car, you're okay with that?
No.
So,
Oh, that's the...
but that's just destroying the canon.
Oh,
You can't
okay.
do that.
Man, I'm referencing something very specific, but you can't comment on it because you have amnesia.
Yeah, I'm just generally stating that if you change a minute detail in a live action adaptation, you've obviously committed a cardinal sin.
So you can make big changes, but not little changes.
Big changes are fun. Little changes, that's just inconsiderate.
Also, Wolverine is dating Silver Fox, I think, is the
I thought it
character.
was Moonstar. Wait, no, Dream Maker.
It's Silver Fox is the character. I watched the animated series episode where he like reunites with like Weapon X and whatnot.
Okay.
Yeah, and then it's like they trick him. They're like, we have to stop Sabretooth. And the only way you can do that is to put metal on your bones. But this is just like a test, and it's like, it feels like a very expensive test. Maybe don't put this in the super invincible guy that you're screwing over.
Isn't that a good reason to do it? Isn't that why they're doing it? Because he's super invincible?
I guess. But
Everyone else has died.
But then they try to erase his memories, which, again, we're just going strictly on film continuity. He got the metal claws put in him and the bones.
Yep.
And then he woke up, ran away, and had amnesia, and he was covered in blood. We saw all glimpses of that in X-Men 1 and 2. So then we finally get to see the full movie here. The room looks completely different. The adamantium bonding process doesn't look that violent at all.
Actually, it does look way more PG. Like
It
they're
is,
trying
yeah.
to be, like
Dude,
they're trying to be less.
Remember
violent.
the flashbacks? There's like blood. Like you were led to believe like cut him open and sprayed that stuff on him. But here it's just like, oh no, we'll just put needles and tubes in.
It knows how to go where it needs to go, like in your veins and stuff. It's fine.
Yeah, so that whole sequence looks terrible. He's not covered in blood when he leaves the facility. There's that horrible shot. So they put this shot of the claws going through the door in the trailer, and I just thought that was like a graphic they made for the teaser. But then it was actually in the movie. I'm like, oh, that looks really, really bad.
You didn't like it? I thought it was awesome.
No, it looks super fake.
Ching, ching.
Mint, what do you want to say about this?
First of all, you know the needles, they're like, how deep are you supposed to inject the needles into your skin so it touches your bone marrow? Like, obviously, it has to, like, hit the bone. So you're going through a bunch of muscle as well. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, how painful is that? And he,
Very.
And it's hot liquid, first of all.
How is it, like, evenly being
He says,
coated?
I've been through worse. And she says, no, you haven't.
Yeah.
So.
And he almost died through this process. This is probably the closest he almost died to.
Because they fucked it up. He would have died. That's how Deathstrike died.
Yeah.
He pumped her full of adamantium. She couldn't heal around it, and she just like fucking died.
Yeah.
Unless apparently you play that video game that I have where she lives somehow. I don't know how, but she did. Yeah, but then it's not like violent at all. And I'm saying I want PG-13 violence, but it's like nothing. Yeah, and then the rest of the movie is him not with amnesia, just trying to get revenge on Stryker, and then he gets help from Gambit.
Yeah, Gambit.
Everyone all wanted Gambit.
That's where he went.
Yeah, Rogue Salad. How did you feel finally seeing Gambit in live action?
I was like, whoa, he looks pretty cool. show me some of his powers, and his powers aren't used enough.
Okay, yeah, his powers. So he can supercharge things and make them explode.
Yes.
Got it. And I know he's fancy with the cards, but he has almost telekinesis with the cards. That's not one of his powers, right?
No.
No, that's not like one of it. It looks cool.
That's Louisianan. That's Cajun. That's not mutant.
And this is like early Taylor Kitsch. I think he was on the Friday Night Lights TV show at that point. And then, of course, he blew up in Battleship.
John Connor
And
of Mars.
John Carter of Mars.
Fuck, I keep saying
Actually,
it
no,
wrong.
they even, by the time
Carter.
the movie came out, they just turned it to John Carter. They got rid of from Mars.
The Princess of Mars, is that what he was in?
Yeah.
A totally
Actually,
faithful adaptation?
Silver Fox in this movie was the princess in John Carter.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Yeah, we see Gambit and they have a fight. I mean, Gambit was fine in it, but then like being a fan of the movies is like, oh, well, Iceman's clearly gonna date Kitty Pryde. Maybe they'll finally put Rogue with Gambit, but now like the age difference is creepy. So it doesn't really make sense.
No, the age difference is hot for Rogue. She's like into that. She's like, I want to be with a 40-year-old. She's all over Wolverine in those movies.
That's true.
So-
That's
good.
more of a fatherly thing. I know women
For
and their
him.
dads. I know, but I never got like a romantic thing out of that.
Not from Logan, but
She was really into Wolverine.
yeah, Rogue's
Well, she
crushing.
kind of remember at the end of the first one, because she absorbed so much of his power.
Yeah.
Jean says she took on a couple of your personality traits. There is a comic that's about like the 2 weeks where Wolverine was recovering, and Rogue is just going feral and angry because she has Wolverine's rage in
Does she have
her.
the claw, the bone
She doesn't have claws. She doesn't have claws.
Oh.
But she has like all his rage and stuff because she held on to him too
Yeah.
long. Yeah. So that's like the plot of the movie, and then eventually he realizes he's double crossed and everything.
Yeah.
He frees mutants. This movie sucks. It looks like garbage. It looks really, really, really bad. And it's not even like you go back and watch like the first entry in a film series, and you're like, well, it was the
Right.
first one. This is the fourth one.
Yeah, and it's way worse than the first
It
three.
looks so much worse than the other ones. And we have those weird. Remember that one shot? Agent Zero kills Ma and Pa Kent. They're
Yeah.
basically Superman's parents. He kills them, and then it does this crazy zoom through the window through all these hills.
that aren't there.
Yeah, then the reverse shot, none of those hills are
None of
there,
them are
and he's
there.
only like 50 feet away.
Insane.
Yeah. Oh,
Don't you worry.
okay.
Stop doing things.
And then the biggest,
The bathroom
worst,
scene, Tony.
the bathroom scene with the metal.
The giant.
See, these look fine. Don't these look fine?
Yeah, why don't everybody just use the toys?
They figured out the claws in the first movie.
Yeah.
You have practical when they're out. You CGI when they go in and out, or they're stabbing someone.
Yeah.
We nailed it. First time
The fully
they nailed
CGI claws.
it. Instead, yeah, they went full CGI, but like not even unfinished CGI. I kept saying they look like the singing sword from Roger Rabbit. And then they're sparking. Every time he touches his claws on anything in this movie, they spark.
Yeah.
I guess because they're new.
It's cool.
It's one of the worst scenes I've ever
Cool,
seen in my
cool.
life. Also, he doesn't have the Wolverine hair in this.
No. Well, towards the end,
Okay.
it starts to fray up.
Actually, no, we pointed out there's one scene where he doesn't have the Wolverine hair. And then
No.
he's driving and has the Wolverine hair. And then he gets somewhere and he doesn't have it again.
I wonder how much of that is intentional and how much of it is just like maybe they shot like a bunch of scenes
Yeah.
with the hair and it didn't look right,
Yeah.
or maybe
That's-
they wanted to build up to the hair or something.
Don't you know that's his driving mode? Like,
Oh.
you know, his hair, it helps with his driving
Some
skills.
drive
Yeah.
with antennae.
Yeah.
It's a big part of his character. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, this movie looks terrible. The action's really bad. Like when he's fighting Victor, when Silver Fox dies
Yeah.
on that train yard, like the camera angles are like too choppy.
I
Like
agree.
their cutting's too frantic. They're over cranking the camera with that fast effect. and
Lots
it feels
of
like they're
cuts.
just covering up bad choreography.
Yeah.
And also he does it. That's
Unlike
stupid look.
Logan, which doesn't bother to cover it up.
No, Logan's action scenes are great. Anyway, yeah, they're terrible. The bone claws look bad.
Yep.
What was your biggest letdown in this film, Rogue Salad?
The remembering it. It's just so freaking forgettable. Like, I remember the injection of him of like the adamantium because that's very obvious.
Yeah.
And then his brother and him are fighting on this dam.
Oh, no. It's the cooling tower. It's 3 Mile Island, the famous incident where the reactor got fucked up.
I didn't know. I was so confused.
When you were a kid and you would take Pan Am to 3 Mile Island? Do you remember that?
No, I don't think she remembers. How do you remember that joke from yesterday? I thought you had amnesia.
What joke from yesterday?
He's always been making this joke.
We were watching a movie, and Pan Am was in it because it was Catch Me If You Can, and he literally asked Mint. He's like, "Did you ever fly Pan Am?" And I looked at him like, "Pan Am closed in 1991."
Well, you know.
I don't think Mint. Although I asked her if she saw X-Men in 1999, so I guess I'm guilty too. My biggest disappointment. Well, it's definitely breaking the continuity. Gambit was a little bit of a letdown because he's just barely in. Like, he wasn't even technically bad other than the telekinesis thing. But his fight scene was lame. Remember Wolverine's chopping up the ladder and it looks all dumb.
That was awesome.
Huh?
That was amazing. Every time he chopped it, it fell one wrong and he did it again. It happened 3 times.
Remember when Blob had a sexy lady tattoo and then when he got fat, it became a fat. But it's not a stretched out tattoo. It's a whole new tattoo of a fat lady.
That's part of his
He got
powers.
it redone. You don't see that part. But it's actually supposed to reflect on his personality.
What's your biggest letdown in this film? Deadpool was the big one. So the merc with the mouth, they got rid of his mouth.
Yeah, how do you do that?
They make him a robot with cameras in his eyes, and they have modern computers, even though this is like 1972
Tony,
or whatever.
The only idea as bad as taking away the merc with the mouth's mouth is taking away Wolverine's healing factor and letting him die. Like it's the only comparable letdown.
It depends on the story you're telling.
Not necessarily.
Deadpool was, and I didn't even. Here's the thing. At the time, this didn't bother me. I don't give a shit about Deadpool, really. Like, he's fine. I think he's actually kind of annoying, and his fans are really, really annoying.
Yeah. Deadpool fans suck.
Yeah, and I will tell my Deadpool story, how I famously hated the first movie for a few years until I watched it by myself and not in a theater full of Deadpool nerds. Don't see Deadpool movies in theaters with Deadpool nerds. It will ruin the movie.
Do they not laugh?
No, they laugh too much.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And there's a joke every 0.5 seconds.
Yeah.
I was about to ask, how loud do they laugh?
My screening? Loud. Deadpool was definitely a letdown in this. I hated that they fucked up Cyclops' powers, and his powers have never gone back to normal since then.
Yeah.
They gave him heat vision.
Instead of, like, pushing.
Yes. They're concussive energy blast. Maybe they can have heat to them, sure, but heat is not the primary thing. It's a concussive force.
Like Cyclops and Gambit should be doing the same thing.
Yes.
Making the energy go pop, like concussively.
Yeah. Because in the first movie, his visor comes off. He blows a hole through the
ceiling
at the station. This one, his glasses come off, and it's just a single laser line, like Superman's heat vision. I'm like, that's not how that works. That's terrible. And then they give that. Yeah, so Deadpool has all the mutant powers. But we looked. Those swords in his arm
where are they going?
They're too long, and they can't bend because they're indestructible. So, like, he has to just walk straight-armed until they're out all the time.
That's why the toys are accurate. The toys they were making at the time that just do this, that's how it actually would work.
I do feel bad for Ryan Reynolds. He's like, wait, this is what you're fucking doing with me? Can I do anything else? This is really bad. But yeah, then I guess Sabretooth and Wolverine decide to not fight each other, and they're gonna fight him, and then they kill him by cutting his head off. Also,
Sabretooth's like, I'm the only one who gets to kill him.
Yes, by the way, the worst thing ever is when Wolverine comes back to the lab, and then he does that pose for no reason. He goes, "Wah!" And he poses. It looks so bad. Silver Fox is Emma Frost's sister, I guess.
They have her crystallizing.
Yes, and this we talked about in the X-Men First Class. The next movie completely erases this from canon because Emma Frost is like in her 30s in X-Men First Class in the 60s, and now she's a teenager.
There's just a lot of Emma Frost's. There's different people named that with the same powers in the same
Okay.
universe.
There's multiple Emma
It's
Frost.
just a coincidence.
Got it.
It's like,
What did you think of Professor Xavier's CGI'd face looking young?
oh, it was awful.
What about the kids running on an obvious green screen toward him? Like, this is clearly added in post.
No, a lot of the movie was clearly almost unfinished.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate because the plot is so good.
Did the writer's strike have anything to do with this? The 2008 writer's strike? I wonder if that fucked up something.
I wouldn't know.
I'll give the movie some leeway if the writer's strike, the 2008 writer's strike, fucked it up. I
Yeah.
can see that being a problem.
There's clearly budget problems at the least. Like,
Yeah.
why would you do the CGI claws?
That's so bad. It's so bad.
Is it cheaper to do CGI than practical?
Well, it's cheaper to reshoot, like just some random plate, like with different CG footage, right?
Yeah.
Than it is to go back and refilm the whole thing.
Maybe,
if they
but
have
with
to do-
claws, like, you don't need CGI claws. It's weird.
Yeah, maybe
Did they
didn't-
lose the
maybe
claws
they didn't
that
fit in
day?
Space, yeah, maybe. Well, that's what I mean. Like maybe it's like a reshoot and they didn't have the props. And it's like, well, hey, we're redoing this one scene in the bathroom.
I feel like that's the most important prop you should have in a Wolverine
I mean, I
movie.
agree with you, but movies aren't made like that.
But no, this was just a miserable experience. It killed the X-Men Origins branding. They just called the next one First Class. It was supposed to be X-Men Origins Magneto,
That would have been cool.
and they got rid of that. There was supposed to be a Gambit
Gambit.
movie.
We
That
need a
didn't
Nightcrawler
happen.
one. We need X-Men Origins.
Yeah. And this movie
for
killed
Mannix.
all of it. I think Hugh Jackman's ego went a little wild. I think this humbled him just a little bit.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah. It really, like, I'm one of those, like, Wolverine's kind of boring on his own. It can work. There are times it works.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he should always be with the team and not have any solo stories, but it's like he's better as part of the team.
I agree.
But this movie proved that too much Wolverine. This is too much Wolverine. You have to have something going. This is an example of a boring, self-contained Wolverine movie. Also,
Yes.
when it comes to story, so you have a mutant whose power is shooting things good. And then after he dies, you establish that you have adamantium bullets that could maybe wipe Wolverine's memories out. Why wouldn't you give that to the mutant who shoots things good?
Well, because Tony, you see, if they had introduced the bullets earlier, you would expect him to use them. And
Yeah, I would.
That's why they didn't do that.
Maybe they shouldn't have used the
Look, Stryker
mutant
wants to
who shoots
protect-
things good if they're going to have adamantium bullets and have him not use the adamantium bullets.
I think Stryker just wanted to protect his investment for as long as it was possible for him to deny culpability.
Also, Danny Houston sounded nothing like Brian Cox. I couldn't buy that was the same character.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't seem like Stryker at all.
No, it didn't.
Yeah. This one blows. This one's
I mean,
pretty bad.
it's great.
Yeah.
It's like a
You are really in denial
7.
about it. You're like so in denial. You've been trying to gaslight us all weekend about how it's a great movie. The adamantium bullet erases his memory. That's stupid.
Yeah.
I have it on good authority that it works, Tony.
But yeah, I think it's time to move on to the next film.
Okay.
Can you read us The Wolverine?
The second best, in my opinion.